What is going on, beautiful folks? Welcome to another episode of Mornings with Lee Hammock, your favorite. Yes, you can have a favorite self aware narcissist. Today, we're talking about how narcissists thrived during the pandemic, during the lockdowns, during the COVID-19 pandemic and whatnot of 22 that began in late 2019, early 2020. If you don't know, I do a lot of coaching calls. I do a lot of one-on-ones over Zoom and phone calls and whatnot. You can find all of that at mentalhealness.net. But over the years, the last few years I've been doing it for almost 4 years now, right? A lot of people's toxic relationships started during the pandemic. A lot of people's toxicity, a lot of people's abusive relationships, narcissistic relationships started during the pandemic because narcissistic people were allowed to run amok because so many people missed so many of these right here. Handy dandy red flag. You see what I'm saying? The handy dandy red flag whipped out, pulled out, did all of this stuff. Like so many people missed these, like and whatnot during the pandemic. What's going on, Michelle? How you doing? Megan, what's up? So many people missed red flags during the pandemic because the world was sad. Wasn't the world sad as hell back then? The world was sad in 2020. It just felt like stay-at-home order. People did not want to stay at home by themselves. All you had was your phone, especially if you were single during this time. All you had was your phone, dating apps, Facebook, Instagram. I had TikTok. I discovered TikTok during the pandemic, right? Um, that's all we had. And so many people did not want to be alone during this time. So many people bypassed. It's kind of like you over so many people overrode their own boundaries and overrode their own standards so they wouldn't be alone during the pandemic. Well, Lee, we met during the pandemic on a dating app. The stay-at-home order had just happened, and I was sad and I was lonely, and I needed my cheeks clapped. I hadn't had a good cheek clapping in months, years even. You know what? I got on Tinder, swiping left, swiping right, however you swipe. I just met this person. We love bombed me. Next thing you know, they were living with me within a week. A week after meeting on Tinder, they came over, we hooked up, and they never left. They never left. You see what I'm saying? And that's what happens. Like so many people just like they love bombing. They told me everything that they wanted, everything that I wanted to hear, and then all of a sudden they wouldn't leave. Or we were living together. We were married. I was pregnant. I got them pregnant. So many times and so many people were rushing during the pandemic, and it led to them being in toxic narcissistic relationships. Narcissists thrived during the pandemic because so many people, like literally were overriding their boundaries and missing red flags because you didn't want to be by yourself. There are so many people who ended up with people during the pandemic that you never would have ended up with if it wasn't you wasn't on lockdown. You never would have ended up with this person if you were not on lockdown, right? You never would have ended up with this person. Y'all would have never seen eye to eye. You never would have saw each other, right? That's what would have happened. That's the space that so many people fall into right there, because it never would have happened during normal times, right? So when the pandemic has happened, they take the mask, and like some narcissists, yeah, you made them on dating apps, you missing red flags and things like that. But there are a lot of narcissists whose mask came off during the pandemic. If you were already in a relationship with them, the pandemic made a lot of narcissists lose their damn minds. There's a ton of narcissists who lost their damn minds. I was one of them. So during the pandemic, I was one of the narcissists that lost their mind. You mean I didn't lose my mind, but I was just kind of like, I was acting out a character. Let's say it like that, right? Yeah, I was acting out a character. And this was when my wife left. Like she left doing it right at the started the stay-at-home order because I was losing my mind because I did not want to stay at home. I was like, I was a full-time real estate agent, and real estate is not an essential service, so we couldn't even go to work. So it was just like you got to show houses on Zillow, and then you got to put an offer in before you can even. You have to put an offer in, get an offer accepted before you buy a house. I mean, before you can go see the house. So many people had to buy houses without even seeing them. So I was losing my mind. I was like, this is my only source of income. My wife is a stay-at-home parent, stay-at-home mom. I was like, oh my goodness. So I was starting to lose it. And she left. Good on her. But so many people so many people like literally lost their relationships and ended up like they were in a vulnerable state. COVID or the pandemic overall was a worldwide vulnerable state. The world was vulnerable, right? So with the world being so vulnerable, this is the type of stuff that ended up happening. So many people were in a vulnerable position and ended up like getting caught up with toxic narcissistic people that you normally wouldn't have went with. He's like, well, Lee, I was vulnerable. I lost so and so. And so many people were losing family members during the pandemic. I lost my dog, I lost my cat, lost my parents, and then I was super sad and lonely. And then so and so came over there and clapped the cheeks, and we were a unit. You know what I'm saying? What's going on, Renee? We became a unit and whatnot. This is what happened. This is the space that so many people fell into. Yeah, if y'all just now joining as well, I have to make an announcement. Austin, we doing Dallas and Houston, Texas for our next in-person workshops. Houston, Texas, and Dallas, Texas. Dallas will be on November the 2nd. Houston will be on November the 3rd in Dallas, Texas. So you can get registered up if you want to check it out. If you want to come check us out at our next event, you can check it out right here at mentalhealness.net/events. To get registered for our next in-person workshop. Our next in-person live event is in Dallas and Houston, Texas. You don't want to miss that. We'll talk a little bit more about that at the end and whatnot. But yeah, this happens to so many people, y'all. It really does. I'm not gonna lie to you. It happens. So many people got caught up in COVID relationships. Well, we had a pandemic baby. I thought I knew them, but I thought I knew them, but as soon as I got them pregnant, they lost their damn minds, and the truth of who they are came out. You know what I mean? That's what the type of stuff that starts happening. That's the type of relationship dynamics that started happening. So many people, like narcissists, thrive because so many people were lonely. So many people miss red flags, and narcissists are the perfect manipulators during this time, during your time of need, during this sad ass time when you think you might. So many people thought they were going to lose their life. They're just like, you know what? I need one last ride. Literally, you need one last ride before you go, because you thought COVID was going to get you, and then you end up riding a narcissist or being ridden by a narcissist. Had a baby, bought a house together. Something happened, and you got stuck with them. You know what I mean? It just in this space and the type of mindset that happened. That's why narcissistic people literally thrived during the pandemic, during COVID-19, during all of this type of stuff started happening. Like, this is why. Because so many people, I'm not saying you missed the red flags, but so many people were missing them. You know, so many people were just like overriding their own. So many people were ignoring their intuition because you didn't want to be by yourself. Like, but if I kick them out, I gotta be by myself. Oh, you know what I mean? Who said this? Yo, I had a pandemic baby with a narcissist. I still have to live with him, but he had a whole ass child in January with somebody else. You see how that happens? You see? Pandemic babies. Now he had a baby by somebody else, and why don't he move out or go be with somebody else? Oh, never mind. They be trying to force themselves on you right there. The relationship was great during COVID. Yeah, I can see that as well. I can see not every narcissist lost their mind during the pandemic. I think some narcissists also had a fear of being alone by themselves. So they got their act together, or they were on their best behavior for at least a little while during the pandemic. But when those stay-at-home orders lifted, like, stay-at-home order is over. They was like, stay-at-home order is over. They're like, oh, really? How to pull this out? It's like they unsheathed their red flag. Like, it sounded like a sword coming out, like swing, 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 swing. Shh. Like, babe, what's that? Oh, nothing. Just something you missed when you let me move in. You just missed this doing when you moved in. When I moved in, you didn't see this. I had this in my book bag. That's what type of stuff that be happening, y'all. So it says just when you wait till you have to go to court, fight with them. Yeah, they're gonna battle you. They will battle you in court. Not all of them. Some of them will battle you, y'all. I just feel like when you are dealing with narcissistic people in these positions and stuff like that, y'all, don't beat yourself up. Because like so many people miss red flags, and so many people are so sad and depressed that they got with narcissistic people during the pandemic, or they got left or abandoned by a narcissist during the pandemic. So like, again, during times you're vulnerable, narcissists, they will abandon you during this time period as well. There are some narcissists, they will absolutely abandon your ass during this time period too. Like there's some that will dip out on you and just abandon you in your time of need. You need them to be there with you, so you don't have to be by yourself. They leave you for the new supply, and you be sad as hell. You be like, "What the hell happened? What did I do? What did I do to deserve this?" You know what I'm saying? This is what happens. Who said? Aaliyah said, "In these last 2 years, your videos have been a huge part of keeping my sanity." There you go. There you go. What's going on, Glenda? But this type of stuff starts to happen, y'all. I be like, when I tell y'all I be rooting for y'all, I be rooting for y'all because don't beat yourselves up. Because like when you beat yourself up, you give yourself what I refer to as an emotional black eye. And when you give yourself an emotional black eye, you can't see straight. You see what I'm saying? When you give yourself that emotional black eye, you absolutely will not be able to see straight. You know, like you absolutely like you won't be able to see emotionally straight. Let's rephrase it like that. You know what I mean? It's baby steps in the right direction to healing. Like, don't beat yourself down because you got with somebody during the pandemic because you were sad and you were lonely or whatever. You might have missed some red flags. You might have ignored your intuition. It's healing season. We've come out of the pandemic. I know COVID is still around or whatnot, but like we've come out of the pandemic. Like we just had COVID in the house a little while ago. We just always had it. We had it. Everybody in the house had it. We all, like I said, just gaslighting yourself. Yes, don't gaslight yourself. Self-gaslighting is so bad, y'all. Self-gaslighting is so bad, so bad. What's going on? Don't be sad, be glad, get the trash bags. Yeah. Who said that? He said, I moved across the country because my ex wanted me to go out there with them right before the pandemic. Then they left me right when the pandemic was there. You go. I'm telling you, some of them will abandon you right when the pandemic happened. Right when stuff starts, they dip on your ass. When you're vulnerable, when you moved across the country, they dip. Like, you know what, Jonathan? I changed my mind. I don't want you here. Bye. And they get you like that. That's the space that so many people fall into. I promise you, but it's not on you, y'all. I'm just telling you. I'm just telling y'all that is not on you. Baby steps in the right direction to heal. Baby steps in the right direction to grow and whatnot. But this is the type of stuff that does start to happen, y'all. But yeah, before I hop off this thing, y'all, I had to show y'all this one time. Share my screen with you real quick. Where you at? Where you at? Boom. Share my screen with you real quick. As y'all can see, Dallas and Houston, Texas, live healing from narcissistic abuse workshop. Dallas and Houston, Texas. Dallas is on November the 2nd. Houston is on November the 3rd. November the 3rd in Houston, Texas. Like I said, you can go to mentalhealness.net/events to get registered. Scroll to the bottom. Check out Dallas. Check out Houston. And we will see y'all there live and in person. Live in person workshop, y'all. But hold on, I'll put it. I'll type it in the comment section too. Y'all can see it as well. But anyways, y'all, let me hop off this thing. I appreciate y'all taking over Texas. Yes, man, we taking over Texas. I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in with me this morning, riding with me this morning. I know it's a little late for my my morning live. I had some stuff I had to do, but be safe. Take care of yourselves. As always, y'all, mental healness is out. Peace.